Lisa.
Will.
Lisa, the last time you were here at Gotta Run with Will, you were, or you still are, a member, in fact, a co-founder of the Subway Squawkers.
Yes.
Remind the audience what it is and what exciting news can you share about the Subway Squawkers?
Yes, the Subway Squawkers is the first and only New York City crosstown rival blog. So I'm a Yankee fan, and I argue with my best friend who's a Mets fan. And
You're all a squawker.
Yes, we're both squawking. So this season the Mets did. I guess they do have a Rookie of the Year, but the Yankees, nearly made it to the World Series. But as for the World Series itself,
yes.
You know the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
At the seventh inning stretch.
Yes, and so you know how it says if they don't win, it's a shame. We're going to root for the home team. So this year, it was a shame for all 7 games because the first time ever in any major sport, the away team won. So there was no rooting for the home team and having them win this time.
Wow, this is the first time ever in any major sports where the home team lost every game.
Right. So that's something.
And so the winning team won always on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the last time you were here, I think you were prepping for your first marathon.
I was.
How did it go, and how many have you done since?
It went great. I'm a slow runner. I finished in 6:16, but I had a great time. Got a story in Guidepost magazine about it, about my coach Mario getting me to my first marathon. And since then, I did my second one in New Jersey, and then I've kind of had a little goal to do marathons in all 50 states. Now, granted that I'm 52, I don't know what the odds are, how long it's going to take me. It could be the next 40 years. But I'm up to 8 marathons now, and 3 of them are New York and 5 other states. So I've got 6 in the books here, and I'm doing New York City this weekend. So that'll be marathon number 9.
Okay. All right. Now, interestingly, there was a little bit of excitement going on. Didn't make the New York Times, but it made the Staten Island papers.
Yes.
Something to do with the Forgotten Island. I say that respectfully. But
yes.
Tell us the story.
Yes, they call it the Foot Locker 5-Borough Challenge, but it was really going to be the 4-Borough Challenge because the Staten Island was a forgotten borough. They had a runner last year who was originally from Staten Island but lives in Manhattan, Pamela Passarello, I think her name is, and she was going to be running it for Staten Island, even though she ran it for Manhattan last year. And not only is that the first time they've ever had a repeat of somebody, which is the way the 5-Borough Challenge works, it's like, do you have an interesting story? Or you like a long-time runner? You do stuff with your community or whatever. It's kind of like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
And so to do it twice just seemed very odd in the first place. In the second place, somebody who hasn't lived on Staten Island since she was a child, and she's going to be representing our borough in the marathon. This did not sit well with Staten Islanders.
It didn't sit well with you because you did something about it.
Right. It was one of these things where all the different running clubs in Staten Island had originally sent a letter to New York Roadrunners saying, no, we're not happy about this. Just, why didn't you pick somebody from who lives here? And nothing was done. I just was like, we need to, rallying my fellow Staten Islanders, like, we need to go to the mattresses on this. We need to do something. So I I contacted politicians, I contacted the media, and the main thing I did was I contacted the Foot Locker bigwigs and they, the people that needed to know and say, this is not right. This is a slap in the face to Staten Islanders. So almost immediately, I would say within maybe an hour of me sending these emails, I started getting phone calls. And I got a phone call from somebody who shall remain nameless, but it was a big decision maker, and was basically, how can we fix this? So, because long story short, I know a lot of people in the Staten Island running community, so I reach out to different people. Okay, who could do this? If something were to happen that we needed, could get a Staten Islander, who could we get? So some names were recommended, And Martin LaRosa is going to be representing Staten Island. And he lives on Staten Island. He works at a local bank. It's really a great story in perseverance because he had applied for it for like 3 or 4 times.
But he hadn't applied for this year.
Oh, he did for this year? He did.
Oh, good. So somebody that actually applied, who actually currently resides in Staten Island, is going to represent Staten Island thanks to you and the other runners of Staten Island.
Yes.
But I think we need to give a little bit of credit to Pamela because Foot Locker didn't offer a solution. If Pamela, who was the one selected, she backed out of it and wished everybody great luck. She's going to run it still on her own.
Right.
So I know Pamela. Ironically, usually every year after the marathon, one of the shows I do is to highlight a couple of people from the Foot Locker. It turned out that Pamela was one of the people from last year, and she's a real sweetheart. So I wasn't surprised that she was very classy in the way she backed out because apparently left it on her shoulders to solve the problem. Foot Locker didn't come up with a solution. Neither did New York Roadrunners. I wasn't aware that New York Roadrunners was that much involved in it, but I guess it's a partnership.
Right. It is a partnership, and they know who the runners are and everything in the community as well, and vetting people and whatnot. But yeah. I do feel bad for Pamela. It's got to be humiliating to be this whole thing, and you think you're doing this, and then where people were, it was Staten Island Advance wrote about it, and the one of the columnists was just like, this is disgraceful, blah blah blah,
Right.
And the commenters, you know how.
Well, I'm sure her Facebook page lit up, but the good news is resolved. Staten Island is proud to have their own there. The only thing I noticed was all a male team this year.
Yes.
So hopefully next year might be an all-female team.
Right. They've done all-female teams before. So.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So.
Good to know.
Good.
Listen, on that note of positivity.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
This has been a Gotta Run with Will moment.